And finally, this form number 35. It looks like a swastika, so I named this file Klaus. And I'm going to bust through these quickly, but you'll see this disintegrate. So what this is this formed over 3 hours under direct influence of the 4G technology, the router. I'll just call it the router. And then this is what happens when I take the router away. It slowly degrades. These are about 4-minute increments, and it just slowly goes back into solution. That's one. Here's another one. This is one that you can see sort of the imprint of where it was before. And so I turn on the router and it grows step by step. And these are actually pretty close intervals. These are like 2-minute intervals. So it grows. It's a different format when it regrows. It has a different geometry, but it still grows. And now I turn off the router and that same form starts to shrink again. Down it goes. All the way down to almost nothing. I turn the router back on. Up it comes.
This is insane.
Buenas noches a todos. En primer lugar, quería desear a todo el mundo feliz año nuevo. Sin embargo, quiero compartir con ustedes unas imágenes escalofriantes. Recuerden ustedes que a lo largo de todo este tiempo, a lo largo de esta semana, hemos hecho incluso un directo con lo que hay dentro de la vacuna de Pfizer y hemos visto grafeno y algunas estructuras, digamos, artificiales. Pero ahora quiero que vean lo que tenemos en pantalla, justo lo que está colocado en el microscopio y que lógicamente me ha puesto los pelos de punta. Esto tenemos que denunciarlo en masa, tiene que salir inmediatamente todo el mundo a la calle y denunciar con lo que ha sido inoculado toda la población mundial. Todos sus vecinos, todos sus familiares han sido inoculados con esto que van a ver ustedes ahora. Circuitería, microtecnología dentro del cuerpo. Voy a compartir con ustedes en pantalla precisamente lo que ocupa dentro del portaobjetos. Una de las gotitas que estaban desecadas desde la semana pasada. Y cuando ese hidrogel se ha secado, se han formado estas imágenes que vamos a compartir, como digo, ahora mismo. A ver si es posible. Bueno, creo que están viendo ustedes en pantalla igualmente, ¿verdad? Vamos a ponerlo en grande para que lo vean. Un momento, por favor. Eso es. Miren ustedes lo que ha aparecido en la vacuna de Pfizer. Como podrán comprobar, lo voy a ir moviendo, hacia abajo, ahora hacia arriba. Hay 4 picos estañados, 4 formas perfectamente cuadrangulares y rectangulares y circuitería dentro. Son componentes electrónicos. Esto es lo que se ha formado en la base del suelo. Aquí hay lo que parecieran condensadores cerámicos, o cualquier otro tipo de componente o circuitería electrónica dentro, como digo, de la vacuna de Pfizer. Aquí hay otra esquina perfectamente artificial. Vamos a ajustar un poquito la imagen. Aquí. Y aquí igual. Esto es microtecnología, probablemente microrouter. Estas son probablemente la consecuencia, o esta es la consecuencia de que las personas emitan direcciones MAC. Es decir, se está introduciendo microtecnología dentro de nuestros familiares, dentro de personas que han sido totalmente engañadas. ¿Cómo no van a originar trombos? ¿Cómo no van a originar todo tipo de infartos y enfermedades cardiovasculares? ¿Cómo esto no va a generar arritmias? Les pido a toda la comunidad médica inmediatamente que acaben con este genocidio encubierto. Esto es lo que hay dentro de la vacuna de Pfizer tras 4 o 5 días de esperar a que se evapore directamente la muestra. Esto. No podemos permitir ni un segundo más que esta gente coloque una inyección más, y especialmente a nuestros hijos. Esto es lo que hay adentro. Y esto es lo que hay que denunciar. Por favor, compartan este vídeo con todas las partes del mundo. Compartan este vídeo en todos los perfiles de sus redes sociales y vayan con estas imágenes directamente al juzgado de guardia para poner la denuncia pertinente, porque yo, don Ricardo Delgado Martín, con DNI 79202099N de Navarra, iré a declarar y llevaré la muestra. Voy a cambiar de óptica. Vamos a verlo más grande. Bueno, por si había dudas. Por si había dudas de algo. Esto no es un crimen, esto es mucho más. Esto es la completa vejación y aberración más alta que se le haya podido hacer al ser humano jamás. Jamás. Aquí ya no hay ningún tipo de duda. Ningún tipo de duda. Esto es un engendro artificial. Ahora que venga toda la puta disidencia controlada a decirme a mí qué es lo que es. aquella que no mira un puto microscopio. Las esquinas perfectamente, pues cuadrangulares. Esto es microtecnología. Hay al menos del orden de 1200 aumentos ahora mismo. Y se ve claramente. Por lo tanto, esto tiene algunas decenas de micras. Y esto es lo que se ha introducido, lo que se ha inyectado a todo el mundo en el cuerpo. Esto es lo que se ha inyectado a todo el mundo en el cuerpo. Dios santo. Dios santo. O paramos a estos genocidas ahora mismo y los metemos directamente en la cárcel. O los colgamos directamente en una plaza pública o terminarán con todo el género humano. ¿Vale? Vamos a probar ya que estamos. Por supuesto he grabado todo tipo de imágenes. Y es que me he parado en este objeto porque es que tenía la necesidad imperiosa de compartirlo con todos ustedes. Vamos a probar con otra óptica. Aquí se ve, digamos, Por favor, compartan el directo con todo el mundo. Clarísimo, ¿verdad? Clarísimo, ¿verdad? Bueno, pues para que después le digan ustedes que son conspiranoicos. Para que ustedes después le digan que son negacionistas. Esto es lo que hay dentro de la vacuna de Pfizer. Hago desde aquí un llamamiento a todos los jueces y magistrados del país, de nuestro país. O hacen algo inmediatamente con esto, o vamos directamente a los juzgados y los ponemos patas arriba a todos. Y vamos como tengamos que ir, porque esto ya no se puede consentir. O ustedes cogen el informe Campra que demostraba todo esto y más, o tomamos otro tipo de consecuencias, porque esto ya no se puede consentir de ninguna forma. Que me llamen a declarar, Vuelvo a repetir, Ricardo Delgado Martín con DNI 79202099 de Navarra. Se ofrece ante cualquier fiscal, magistrado, juez de nuestro país y de cualquier otra parte del mundo a demostrar lo que hay dentro de las vacunas, a demostrar dentro de lo que hay dentro de los viales. Esto es un auténtico genocidio, un crimen contra toda la humanidad que no se puede permitir, bajo la ignorancia, el analfabetismo y el desconocimiento de tanta gente. Hagan el favor de llevar estas imágenes a los ambulatorios y a los hospitales públicos. Por favor, hagan el favor. Y me citan a mí para declarar. Y hagan el favor de inhabilitar inmediatamente a ese impostor que se hace llamar presidente de gobierno. Inmediatamente. Bueno, yo creo que es suficiente. Yo creo que es más que suficiente. Disculpen ustedes la forma de expresarme, pero como todo ser humano, me emociono, pero no precisamente para bien, porque esto es una burrada. Cogen ustedes estas imágenes y las lleven directamente a un juzgado de guardia. He dado todos mis datos personales y llevaré la muestra que voy a guardar cautelosamente de esta vacuna de Pfizer con un lote determinado, que tengo igualmente la trazabilidad del sanitario que me la pasó en la concentración de Sevilla, y vayamos todos a denunciar este auténtico genocidio. Ni un minuto más se puede consentir esta auténtica atrocidad. Lo dejo aquí. Muy buenas noches y, como digo, feliz año nuevo a todos.
안녕하십니까. 여기는 평택역입니다. 보시면 블루투스 찾기 해보겠습니다. 지금 심각한 게 19시 57분인데요. 백신 맞은 사람들 블루투스가 엄청나게 많이 잡히고 있습니다. 여기는 횡단보도 있는 쪽이라서 더 사람이 주변에 보이는 사람이 한 100명 정도 돼 보이는 것 같아요. 헤아려 보겠습니다. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열, 열하나, 열둘, 열세, 열네, 열다섯, 열여섯, 열일곱, 열여덟, 열아홉, 스물, 스물하나, 스물둘, 스물셋, 스물넷, 스물다섯, 스물여섯, 스물일곱, 스물여덟, 스물아홉, 서른, 서른하나, 서른둘, 서른두명, 서른셋, 서른넷, 서른다섯, 서른여섯. 도로 가니까 좀 시끄럽네요. 그래서 지금 엄청나게 많이 잡혀 있습니다. 그래서 이 점 유의하시고, 제가 사람 없을 때도 한번 없는 장소에서도 찍어 보여드리겠습니다. 이상입니다.
A la redonda, dentro del cementerio y después del cementerio varios kilómetros más. Y tenemos direcciones MAC desconocidas.
Are terrified. They told me they're having sleepless nights because they cannot cope with what they're seeing under the microscope, but they can't speak out for fear of being deregistered, arrested, or even losing their lives. But I'm not afraid, and I'm happy to take the heat for them, and I will continue to expose these evils at whatever cost. I'm going to show you the footage that they've sent me, video clips of this nanotechnology moving inside the body. You can see it starts off straight, it gets curved, it is lighting up under the microscope when it comes near a mobile phone or when you bring a mobile phone near it. This is very, very alarming. Watch the footage. You can see it in the footage moving and self-assembling, and it looks like it might have legs. I mean, what is this inside of people? I'm going to bring up another clip for you now, which shows how it responds when a mobile phone comes near it. Watch this. It's up on your screen right now, so you can see it's just lighting up as soon as they've brought a mobile phone near it, and then they actually remove the mobile phone from its presence. It goes dimmer again, and then they bring it back, and here it lights up one more time. So again, we have to ask ourselves the question, what is actually happening to people who've been injected with this when they're around the unavoidable frequencies that surround us in our day-to-day life? It doesn't matter where you go. You are going to find all sorts of frequencies in the air, in your home. Unless you're living, I don't know, in the forest, how can you get away from this? And who told you that this would be inside your body when you submitted to this medical experiment? Watch this. This is a video that you see right now of this structure starting off straight, and then it begins to curve. And all of those flickering lights that you see are more evidence of this nanotechnology. I'm going to play it again. And these researchers are telling me that this continues for days. It continues to light up for days after they've taken it out of the vial. Here's another one. This looks like a microchip forming inside the human body with these structures surrounding it, moving, lighting up. I mean, I had a woman say to me recently, I took the first 2 doses because the government told me that I had to, but as soon as they tell me that they want me to be microchipped, that's the final straw for me. I will not be microchipped. And I said to this person, I have some terrible news for you. And showed her the footage, and needless to say, the woman was white as a ghost. She was shocked. She was terrified. And so she should be, because this has been injected into human beings all across the globe without their consent. Now, it's bad enough that there was no informed consent about the fact that you might drop dead from a heart attack or a blood clot, or God knows what else. Every single citizen of the globe should be outraged that this is being put into human beings without them having any idea. This entire virus and this pandemic was created so that these psychopaths would have a way of changing what it means to be human. Not only have they changed your DNA, not only is this changing your genetic makeup, but you now are a walking computer. What are people going to do with this? Every single health authority, politician, unelected bureaucrat who's had a hand in this needs to be held accountable for their crimes, and these are crimes against humanity. And we know what happened the last time trials of that nature went on. Now, I'm not calling for a violent revolution. I'm not calling for violence of any sort, but what I want, and what every single citizen of this planet should want, is justice. And these criminals must be held accountable. I'm going to show you a clip from Dr. Carrie Madej that talks about their plans to control people through their thoughts. But then I'm going to show you some more alarming footage from these researchers and doctors and scientists that explain why everyone now has vaccine-induced AIDS everywhere in the world. Every single country with high vaccination rates is struggling with this problem. These people are becoming sick, and they're saying, oh, if I didn't have the vaccine, I might have died. No, you are possibly going to die because you had the vaccine. This is what the data is suggesting, and I'm going to show you under the microscope why that's happening to people. But first, here's Dr. Carrie Madej. To control people through their thoughts. But then I'm going to show you some more alarming footage from these researchers and doctors and scientists that explain why everyone now has vaccine-induced AIDS everywhere in the world. Every single country with high vaccination rates is struggling with this problem. These people are becoming sick, and they're saying, oh, if I didn't have the vaccine, I might have died. No, you are possibly going to die because you had the vaccine. This is what the data is suggesting, and I'm going to show you under the microscope why that's happening to people. But first, here's Dr. Carrie Madej.
the people at this meeting, they believed they were the controllers and everybody else was controlled. So there would be a hierarchy, right? But even in this group, when I was talking to them, I said, this is horrific. Why would we do this to other human beings without even telling them? And they said, well, what's happening in the world will happen. It's going to happen worldwide. It's something you can't stop. So either you want to be on this side, our side, or the other side. And you believe us, you don't want to be on the other side. So regardless if it's right or wrong, you want to be on the person lied. There's many biosensors in the body that would set off a red alarm. It would be connected to our smartphone or some other device that would always analyze this. So when the person lied, there'd be some sort of an instant repercussion, and then they would be marked how many times they lied over a month. And then the supercomputer, that's why we need the 5G, would analyze that and then enact a social credit system on them, meaning just like China. So if you lied too much, you couldn't own your own home, you couldn't get to a good school, you wouldn't have access to good food, you couldn't have good entertainment. This would be lying could even be very one-sided, meaning what if the government thought that you were just speaking up for human rights and they felt that was lying? I mean, they can determine the parameters of what is a lie, what isn't a lie.
I was just about to say, what do we do? What do we do with the lying media or the lying politicians? Well, that won't be considered a lie by these globalists who are pushing one narrative and silencing absolutely any other opinions. Sorry, go on, Dr. Madej.
No, they're the ones programming it. Of course, you're right. And if you look at China's social credit system, it'll tell you that you or I would be at the bottom of the list. We would be very much punished because just of what we're speaking about right now, because if you look at China's social credit system, if you do anything that speaks out against the government, anything that speaks out against the narrative, according to them, you fall to the bottom of the list.
Dr. Madej was talking in this interview, which you can see up on zmedia.com, about the contents of these meetings with secret elite business people, scientists, renowned doctors, so on and so forth. And she talks about how they openly and proudly discussed shocking a human being if they told a lie, and the process that happens inside the human body, that they were then able to program, potentially, to cause a shock. And then they changed the word because that was a little bit uncomfortable for the crowd, it seems. A shock in the human body when you lie. But the question is, what is a lie to these people? Watch this.
It would stimulate, the word they used was shock, right? So we in the audience gasped when they said the word shock. And this was Dr. Sanjay Gupta, by the way. He said, oh, I guess you don't like that word. I'll use the word buzz. Maybe you find that more palatable. He never did go into what exactly that meant, but we do have the capability of sending electronic impulse into the body. The body could produce a sedative, a toxin, or a neuropeptide, something that would be given to you as a repercussion. Obviously, it's nothing good, right? And then after maybe a month or 3 months, this program would be calculating how many times you lied. And at the end of the month, 3 months, if you were lying too much, according to this supercomputer program, you would have the negative social credit system enacted. Because at this point, we would be in a digital cage, right? Because let's say you were not a good human, your car is electronic. Most cars are electronic starts. Your car would not function past a certain perimeter of your house. But if you're a good person, it would go farther. Maybe the way you buy cash, they want to do it through your body, right? You wave your hand, something like that. Well, if you were a bad human, you couldn't have access to the good food. Maybe you wouldn't get real meat, right? This is the way they could condition you like that.
Now, if you thought that the imprisonment that you were subjected to in times of lockdown and extreme measures that governments and unelected bureaucrats implemented during this time of so-called crisis were bad enough, wait until you're a prisoner of your own mouth or even your own mind. We are talking about biometric data being sent to an AI supercomputer that's programmed by these elites to tell you what you are and aren't allowed to think, and then your body being punished for that. And this will be followed up by a punishment in society where you may not be able to eat because you've had one bad thought about your president or your prime minister. Does that sound like freedom and safety to you? Or does that sound like a complete dystopian nightmare?
Scanning people's bodies for visible proof of vaccination, showing the luciferase that's found in the vaccines at airports when you're trying to travel. Hi everyone, this is Hope Girl, coming to you from HopeGirlBlog.com and FTWProject.com, where we make EMF protection products by hand. And we're doing this special report to show you what's going on in the world when it comes to traveling. They are actually scanning people's bodies at the airports to try to find the luciferase that is lighting up in people's foreheads and people's hands and their arm injection sites. What you're about to watch is a special report interview that I'm doing with my friend Victor Hugo. He is an American who is a refugee trapped in the country of the Republic of Georgia, and he has firsthand account stories about friends of his who were trying to travel back home using fake vaccine passports, and they ended up getting stuck at the airport because they were scanned, their bodies were scanned in order to see if there was luciferase or not emanating from the vaccine sites. And when they found that it wasn't there, they were like, this is a fake vaccine passport. They were detained at the airport in horrible conditions, and in some cases, they were forced to take the vaccine in order to return home to their connecting flights in their countries. In this report, we're going to show you the patents that show that luciferase is a real ingredient that is in these vaccines and being injected into the public without their knowledge. We're also going to review several videos where people are actually putting black lights on their injection sites to show that their bodies are glowing from the luciferase. We'll show you a video where the PCR test strips are also glowing from the luciferase. And we're going to cover a very important video showing the actual scanning technology and equipment at the airport, where you can see for yourself with your own eyes how people's bodies are being scanned at the airport, and their foreheads and their hands and their arms are lighting up under the black light. Then we'll be bringing in my husband, Tavon Rivers, who is a former Navy tech and engineer, who will be describing the tech.
Vindication. What I mean by that is, well, Dr. Carrie Madej, Dr. Zandre Botha put us on base, right? They're hitting for the team of truth. And then bringing through the patents, bringing through the receipts is Karen Kingston, who joins us now, and she's back with more receipts. Patents that prove medical devices are inside of these inoculations, some sort of an injectable computing system, which is what Dr. Carrie Madej said. And then you have more on these discs, what they are, that Dr. Zandre Botha reported. She showed us slides of what she was seeing underneath her electron microscope. Thank you for being here. What do we have?
Thank you for having me back, Stu. Yeah, so what we have is there are 4 advanced technologies that are part of these injections. And the purpose of them is to trace your social network and your activities, as well as deliver different drugs and genetics and immune modulating processes and stuff like that. So let's just dive right into it, because I want people to see where I got this information from. If you go to the Moderna website, right on the Moderna website, they post the patent for these injections. Keep in mind the Pfizer injection, all the mRNA products fall under Moderna. So it's patent number 10703-789B2, issued on July 7th, 2020. And what you'll see right there is a description of the 4 lipid nanoparticles that are in here and what and that they encapsulate the mRNA. As you read through a patent, what you'll find is in the art or the abstract, when they describe it, they'll explain what this does. And in section 201, they explain that there's a delivery system involved, right? And if you go on to read about the delivery system, it can deliver a therapy or genetic product over a period of days, weeks, months, or even years. And as you go through the patent, that is related to certain technologies. So it's related to technology patent number 201-0021-684, and the other one is 202-01859. I'm going to take you to those right now. So if you go to the patent number that ends in 60084, what this is these are nanodiscs. This is what Dr. Bothra showed on your show. Those metal discs. Remember she had shown those?
Yeah. Yep.
So this is what these are, and they contain 4 products. One is docetaxel in this patent, and that's a chemotherapy. So the point of that is to shut down your innate immune system. A lot of doctors have said the first injection shuts down the innate immune system, the ability of the white blood cells to attack. Well, that's what chemotherapy does. It also contains polylactide, which is a plastic-based product, and then polylactide polyethylene glycol. Ethylene glycol is the petroleum-based, and then the last one is a targeting ligand or biomarker. So if you go through, you can just show how these images in the patent match up to what the doctor had shown you, Dr. Bothra. And I think what's really important to note here is that it says right here in the patent in 0046 section that it can contain gene therapies, medical therapeutics, pathogen-borne diseases, and hormone-related products that can be in there. And then what's really important is if you go to 0074, it says that they can also contain moieties. Moieties are biomarkers, so they can put biochemical products in there so that it actually knows to go to the ovaries, to go to the testes, or to go to the heart. So these VAERS reports are not adverse events. That means that they were unintended. These are intended consequences. And so these products are programmed to go to certain parts of your body. And so that's what's in this patent as well. If you go on to the next patent ending in 65001, this patent is for the oh, sorry, that's not the one I wanted to go to. If you go to patent number, 65001, my fault.
Okay.
This patent is for nanomagnets. So the reason why people are magnetic is because they were injected with magnets. And you can see in the picture it has wires to magnets, permanent magnets, and a drug delivery, the package that's in there. And then the point of this product was originally to treat certain types of cancers, bone cancers, and it would attach to the bone. But if you go to figure 1A, you'll see all these little light particles of what the system looks like underneath the light. And it reflects the light. So all these doctors who are looking at the vials under the microscope, they're like, what are these things reflecting lights? Well, they're the magnets. And that's why people are magnetic. Because
so Carrie Madej said, you can see that these vibrant purples and pinks and yellows and all this other stuff. To me, this suggests that there's some sort of an injectable computing system. That's what she said, that those vibrant colors were.
Yeah, that's the single-walled carbon nanotubes, the graphene oxide nanotubes combined with quantum dot. But they need the magnetics injected in them to host the magnetic field to actually to host all of that.
So are we past this fact checker deal now? Are we over this? This Daniel Funke at the USA Today was all over this. I think he even wrote you, these Reuters people. Are we done with this graphene oxide debate now? I mean, that's over, right? I mean, this is proven. It's in there. That's it.
Yeah, let's go to that patent. So if you go to the patent number ending in 618, again, this falls underneath the Master Moderna patent on the Moderna website, so it's clearly delineated. This is no conspiracy theory. I'm not making anything up. You can go to the patent. It refers to this patent, which is a method for making semiconducting single-walled carbon nanotubes. Those are made from graphene oxide. They're 1 atom thick. This is common sense in this world. I mean,
it's written. It's right there. This is the proof. I mean, it's in the receipts. So I would like a public apology to you from these Reuters people and from these fact checkers over at USA Today. I'm going to name him Daniel Funke. This guy is a real jerk. I want these people to come out and say, you know what, we got it wrong. Karen Kingston was right. Here's the patents. She brought receipts. Graphene oxide is in these shots. I mean, and that is really only just the bare minimum dangers of what's associated with these things. I mean, so they should have no problems moving on past the graphene oxide and now fact-checking you on the fact that there's actual self-aware living organisms building little colonies inside of you while they inject these computing systems that are going to track you through this smart app technology and give you a risk score, not based on your health, but based on how much of a super spreader you are, and you're super spreading the truth about these vaccines, and that's what they want to fight against. And I hope that they will come out and admit that they were wrong about this graphene oxide thing, because we're making headway. We're moving the needle here by showing the proof. You see, this is the machine, Karen, that we have to fight against every single day, sitting behind this desk and that production room over there, these researchers over here, people like you that are hard at work, up all night long, putting this stuff together, digging through this, so that people don't get killed, intentionally murdered, by these globalist oligarchs that have now assumed some sort of pseudo-authority, these aristocrat, serial killer psychopaths. That's what they are. Let's just call it what it is. This is a genocide plan.
It is to usher in artificial intelligence. That's what it is. So the reason why they're calling men women and women men is because they want to call Sophia and Grace she's. And they're not. These robots, these things are not humans. And what's happened is they've intentionally, through the mainstream media and through this type of technology, they've divided Americans, and we've started to think less of other human beings, which is not what we're supposed to do. I mean,
not at all.
We're supposed to, yeah, and so that's why this is actually, I guess we're not going to get through all of it today, but this is actually very much a spiritual warfare, and it's about what's in our hearts. And if we believe in being, the children of God, and we believe in God, and we connect with each other and in that love, we can heal this country. But as long as we continue to divide and hate one another, this is not going to. We're going to usher in an era of terrorism. That's what this is with this artificial intelligence, and what you're saying, these tyrannical sociopaths who have hijacked our government and hijacked our communities. That's what's going on. But if you want to just get real quick, we can continue to go through some of the evidence I found. The February 4th publication by Gail Elric, who owns this patent for the smart technology app for the vaccines, is entitled "Prioritizing Allocation of COVID-19 Vaccines Based on Social Contact Increases in Vaccine Effectiveness." It was published on February 4th, 2021. They did a beta in Virginia and the DC area, and what they decided was getting vaccinated isn't based on comorbidities or your age. It's based on how you're engaging as an American in our society. This is a obedience platform, as you said. It's a way to enslave people and eventually lead to executions of those that they do who are not obedient. I mean, that's what this is.
And this platform is not a doomsday platform of darkness. This might seem hyperbolic and this might seem like fear-mongering, but if you're afraid of something, you're paralyzed. Fear is a weakness. Being aware, being armed with this information only strengthens you. And so this is a platform about winning, because I read the book and I know how it ends. God wins. And this is an opportunity to really strengthen yourself in order to be a part of, not the resistance.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved